I eat like shit every time I'm on the road.
I actually think it's easier because I'm not around my husband.
It is so funny that I wanted to have you on for a while, but I will never forget. This was recent. It's probably like 7-8 months ago. You got up at the improv mic and you were just like running through some stuff. And I don't remember what it was. That audience sucked, as they tend to. And there was one joke that like didn't get laughs. And you were like, listen, I do this all the time. I'm on the road all the time. I headline. I'm not super concerned whether or not you're laughing at that. And I was like, God damn, that's refreshing. You know, just because I think people like live and die by those rooms and those mics. And I'm just like, oh my God, finally someone who's just like, I'm here just to get the words out of my mouth. I don't really care what's happening in this room.
That's funny. I wonder what it was.
I don't remember what the joke was, but I just remember you were like, I'm good. I'm totally fine.
Yeah.
And even Rita was like, when you said that, she was like, she's like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's almost like weirder if you don't acknowledge what's going on.
Totally.
It's bizarre. And I'm like, oh, you guys just are not paying attention, which is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, there are people, the number of people that I've seen on their phone who are playing like all kinds of weird games I've never seen before. And I'm just like, why are you here? Like, what is the point of doing it? If you want to play video, and I don't judge it, but I'm like, what? Like, we're all just here trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you want someone doing that shit? Is it still too hot? Because I kind of want to try it, but I see you've picked it up.
It is hot. I'm like, I'm going to burn myself.
So I do that. I do that. Are you a big tea drinker or no?
Not a big tea. I went through a tea phase where I really tried to make it work for me. Now,
Okay. I've never heard someone say it that way. I tried to make tea work for me. It didn't.
well, my cabinet is filled with all this tea I don't drink now.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Why? Get back in there. What do you mean it didn't work for you?
Well, I thought it would be like, I think it was probably during the pandemic where I was just looking for something soothing or like something sweet or flavorful that wasn't candy. And I'm like, this isn't candy. Like I was like, oh, I can trick my brain into like being like, this is a candy. It's not. I want M&Ms.
No, what kind of M&Ms?
I mean, right now I love M&M minis. Those are always fun.
Minis. So I'm a peanut M&M guy. And and I just learned that some people do not like peanut M&Ms. And I'm like,
they're fine.
They're fine. Wow, this is your hot take. Peanut M&Ms are just fine. What's your favorite candy?
My favorite candy? That's a lot. Ice cream. I know that's not a candy.
Wait, are you an ice cream person? Oh my God, we could dedicate the entire podcast to this.
I'm 100% an ice cream person. Every birthday I get a Baskin-Robbins custom ice cream cake.
So that's what I had for my birthday this past year. When is your birthday?
January.
Oh, so you just had one.
Yeah, but I get it because now I live in LA. And when I was living north of Chicago, I couldn't because it was too cold and it would genuinely wrecked my childhood. And now every single occasion I buy an ice cream cake. Like my husband is mid about ice cream. When I buy him a birthday cake, it is an ice cream cake.
He's mid about ice cream?
He doesn't like most desserts. Yeah.
What? Okay, we're going to touch back to that in a second because that's completely unacceptable. Where, okay, this is, I know I'm not going to like this answer, I'm sure. Do you have a go-to ice cream place? And if so, what is it?
I don't because unfortunately.
I thought you were about to hate on my ice cream place. I was getting
nervous.
No,
I eat a lot of that. Oh God, what's that diet ice cream?
Halo Top?
Yes. I eat a lot of Halo Top.
I tried. And then I ate more of it. So it ended up being the same problem that if I just had the plain ice cream. I just like, I'm eating to fill a hole in my heart. And I am just like, there's never enough. Have you had Salt and Straw?
It's good.
My favorite ice cream in the whole wide world.
But no, I eat Halo Top because I won't hate myself afterwards.
I mean, I do anyway. Every time after I eat it, I'm just like, did I need that? And then the other part of me goes, yes. It is a problem. You know, I'm engaged to someone who's a very big dessert person. So I would actually almost prefer your situation because it puts me in a situation where I am on the front lines of sugar throughout the entire day.
I mean, my husband says he doesn't like dessert, but then he gets high and our house is filled with trash.
Uh-huh.
And then
who's bringing the trash in? You
or
him?
Both of us.
Okay.
It's not good. Like he'll get me treats because he knows I like sweet stuff. And he got it's a miracle I have not devoured this thing, but he got this like Little Debbie's apparently makes ice cream,
No, they don't.
Yes.
For real?
Yes.
Wow.
And there is this ice cream, and I like birthday cake is one of my favorite flavors. And remember that old Little Debbie's bar with the sprinkles, like the
Yes,
round
I do.
sprinkles? They made an ice cream version of that. It's so fucking good.
Where did he find it?
I don't know. It's so good, but I refuse to fit because I know I'm like, this is little. I haven't even looked at the calorie information or health information. I was like, there's no way this isn't an instant heart attack. Like Little Debbie's
100%.
ice cream. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. That's
it's
even
just-
bad
it's-
for ice cream.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I had the other day, I love Salt and Straw's vegan freckled mint chocolate. And I don't typically like vegan ice cream. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't think it's usually very good. This is incredible. I had
Really?
it. Okay. I grew up as an ice cream aficionado. This is some of the best mint chocolate I've had, vegan or not.
Oh, that's awesome.
Do you ever eat vegan ice cream?
I don't think I have. I would like to go vegan, but I love ice cream and cheese too much. That's the only thing stopping me. I've already gotten
Really?
rid of milk.
So
yeah.
you're veg.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
I'm a pescatarian.
Yeah.
So
Oh, sometimes I'll eat fish. If I'm out, I'll eat like a fish or a shrimp.
Okay. A shrimp.
Yeah.
You'll eat a single shrimp. You're like, can I have one?
Just
Let's take
one.
one shrimp. One large. No, yeah, I'm a pescatarian. I went vegan for 6 months. Loved it. The amount I had to eat to hit the like protein that I would like to get in a day. You can do it. You just have to eat more, and I don't like eating that much.
Yeah.
It was tough.
I probably don't get enough protein.
But also, like, my question for you, because you and I have similar diets, you're on the road a lot. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's my take with you is that you're on the road a lot. Gotta be challenging to eat. I eat like shit every time I'm on the road.
I actually think it's easier because I'm not around my husband.
Okay.
I'm dead serious. It's funny because comics will talk about how they're like on the road and this is their chance to like splurge and like
Yeah.
get out of control. I'm like, this is my chance to be in control without my husband being like waving Doritos dipped in nacho cheese in my face. So
Wait, that-
like,
Sounds delicious, though.
I know,
I want
but
that.
yeah, it's not that even places that aren't healthy, like worst case scenario, I can go get a naked juice and like a pack of almonds from a 7-Eleven. Like there's
Sure.
always something that I can have access to.
I would probably just do you know what like a Slurpee suicide is, where you get just all the flavors?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's what I would probably do. By the way, before we keep going, I forgot to introduce the tea. We should do that really
Yeah.
fast. This is Rishi's Hojicha Shiso.
Oh, that's good.
I love that. That is delicious. For those who are sleeping at home, steeps at 200 for 5 minutes. Fantastic. If you notice it has a little red tint to it, it's the shiso leaf, and it's amazing. But yeah, no, and I also love that you said green. A lot of times when people are coming on the pod, and I'll be like, oh, do you have a tea preference? And they'll always say, if someone doesn't drink tea, they'll either say chai or I've gotten a lot. What do other people ask? And I'm like, you can just say no preference. I will pull you lots of different
Yeah.
things. But when you said green, I was like, I could really use a green in the afternoon.
I bet they're thinking about a chai latte when they say that.
Yeah, I mean, and I make those for people. I'm waiting for a guest to ask me for matcha, because I make matcha at home too.
Matcha is very good.
So you do. So I know you said you tried to get into tea instead of candy, and that didn't work, but you still have some tea.
Yeah, I still like tea. Yeah.
I think that's the funny thing is like these days where I'm at in my life, when I'm like going to a show, like I was just talking about this with someone earlier. I was like, I had a longer set, and someone was like, oh, do you want to you have a bunch of drink tickets? I was like, yeah, do you have tea here? And they were like, there's tea next door. I was like, great, I'll be right back. And then I brought tea up, and the person was like, you're the first comic I've seen like drinking tea during your set. And I'm like, I want to soothe my throat. I don't want a beer on stage. It's just like I'm not at the point in my life anymore where that's something that super interests me. Not to knock anyone else who's like, who drinks on the road. I'm just like, if I have to do a long set, I try and treat it like work. Like I'm not there to get hammered by the end of my set, not knowing my own name.
I'm just not a functional drunk, so that's never been an option for me.
I respect that. I respect that.
Have an insanely low tolerance. So.
Do you really? Oh, mine's gotten lower. Mine used to be normal. It's way down now. I think during the pandemic, a lot of people chose a thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people made that thing booze.
Like that you said that like it was a hobby. Chose a thing
Yeah.
like crochet or
Yeah.
heroin.
Or yeah. Well, listen, I have a friend, I'm not going to name this person, who used the pandemic to try kind of every different drug.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I have a different friend who tried heroin once. And I was like, you're aware that is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
And they were like, what I did, I really wanted to try it. I locked myself in my apartment. My brother was the only one that knew. And I made sure that like he made sure that I didn't go do anything stupid. And I just like waited it out 3 days in my apartment. I did it once at the very beginning, then waited it out 3 days. So it was like kind of out of my system, and then went on living my life. I understand why people get addicted to it though. That was the craziest thing in the world.
So his review was 5 stars.
Kind of, honestly, yeah. I know. I'm sorry. I know.
No, one of my, oh God, why am I forgetting? It's, what is it? Mike DiStefano? Like,
Yeah.
when he talks about don't feel bad for heroin addicts because that they're happier than you are when you see them not. It's just so funny.
I want to go back to something you said where you said you're more in control on the road. I think I'm more in control of my time, but I'm not more in control of like my diet or kind of like I write more on the road. Like I can crank out, I can do rewrites on scripts, all that kind of stuff when I'm on the road. It's much easier. I have less obligation to people. But I do think I eat shittier. My sleeping hours get completely wrecked.
Well, yeah, I feel way worse all the traveling. Like my health takes a dive.
Right? I don't. Yeah, people. I love when you check into like a I don't want to say janky. I'll just say lower star lodging experience, and they go, "Oh, we have a gym," and I'm like, I'm not going to use that, and I think we both know it. You know what I mean? Like this is a La Quinta. Like I don't think, and neither of us think I'm going to go in there. So let's just pass. Let's skip it. And then when you get to the gym, it turns out like it's just someone's room with a treadmill in it. You're like, okay, excellent. It's nice to be here.
I almost always use the gym.
Okay, now you're making me feel terrible. Right now.
But it's good. It's just because I have more control over my time and my environment. But it's like there was this one hotel that had a deal with the YMCA where you pay like $5 and you get to use their gym, but you have to drive to the Y. And like both the receptionist and the person at the Y were shocked. I was there. Like he literally couldn't find the form for like coming for the hotel. He's like, just sign this piece of paper. Like I just signed a bookmark. Like nobody does that.
Yeah, they're like, you don't even have to pay. The fact that you drove here, we're shocked. That is crazy. When like,
but I also feel like if I make, because like it's never easy to do it. So if I make an excuse to not do it when I'm on the road, like I'm going to make that excuse when I'm at home. So it's almost like a mentality of this, there's no choice. Because if I give myself a choice, I'll never do it. I don't want to be at the gym. I fucking hate it.
I hate it too.
Yeah.
What are you doing in the gym? Are you a weightlifter? Are you a runner?
Both. So I do HIIT and strength like one day.
Sure.
Two of those days it's the whole body, like upper lower. I just core, do everything. One of those days it's just lower body and core, and then for the rest of the week I'll do cardio. So like I'll run or I'll bike.
Sorry, for the rest of the week. How many days a week are you going to the gym?
7.
Jesus. Wow. Because I'm like trying to add this up as you're talking. You're like this one day, then that day, then this day. I go to the gym. I'm like, this is not a proud thing. I'm not stoked on this. I go to the gym 3 days a week.
That's good.
Yeah, it says the 7-day or.
Well, I don't move otherwise. Like it's not like in New York when you're walking around. Like, I don't move. Like I have to go to the gym just to move.
Why? As someone who spent a lot of time in New York, and I'm a New Yorker who also made this decision, so this is not coming from a place of judgment. What made you want to come out to LA?
I didn't. There was a job here for me. I had to. And then I married my stupid husband. There's a house here. So I'm stuck. I don't want to be here.
I love that. I married my stupid husband who has a house here. Have you, so we're in a similar position. Yeah. And Jess has said to me many a time, she's like, what if we went to New York? And I'm like, cool. What if we didn't pay our payments where we live? What do you think happens then? If we go to New York, this place will get repoed. So like we can't, that's not really an option when you buy. Excuse me. And she's like, I just think we should think about it. I'm like, think about what? We're stuck here.
We want to move to New York because of me, because I've complained so much.
Does he have a job where he can do that? Even
he
if
would just get another job. Because he works in IT, so
he's in demand everywhere.
Yeah, he's set. So he eventually wants to open a restaurant too, but the interest rates are so high. Like we can't. It would be like all in one move. Like we would move to where he opened the restaurant, but we can't because interest rates are crazy. You can't take out a loan right now. It's insane.
Would you ever entertain any other cities beyond LA and New York? Answered.
I don't know. It just would depend on where I am in my career. Like right now, no, I have to be in LA or New York. But it's like if I was like Nate Bargatze or Hannibal, they can be wherever the hell they want.
Yeah, well, Nate, I was trying to explain to someone the other day. Someone was like, Nate just does a bunch of jokes about his life and it just works for him. And I'm like, I understand that. Nate is also one of the most talented comedians right now that's working. So it's a big difference between him and me. They were trying to give me advice on what I should do. And I'm like, if I were at his skill level, I could do jokes about anything. I'm not, so I can't. But no, yeah, I think it's interesting. It depends kind of. I saw a lot of people go to Austin and then start using Austin as a base. I would never live in Austin. The summers are truly insufferable there.
It sounds insane. What is it, like 110 degrees?
Yeah, it's a nightmare. And wet?
And wet. Like it's a wet heat. It's not.
It's gross.
It's not like LA.
I don't think I could live there. Yeah, I don't know if there are any other places. But now that I asked you that question, I'm thinking on it myself. I'm like, I don't know.
It really just depends on what I have going on. It's like I need to be in LA just because like you're around industry and people and things that are happening. And then like for like a smaller role, they want local hires. So it just helps to be based in like LA or New York. And you're just around people who are doing stuff. So you get thought of more. But it's like if I was at a level where I didn't need to constantly be in people's faces, then yeah, I could go to Chicago or some shit.
Would you?
I don't see any reason why I wouldn't.
Okay, listen, I loved Chicago, but like it is very cold there.
I would probably want to be. It would be a bummer though, because like none of my comedy friends are there except for Marcela Arguello just moved there.
She just moved there?
Mm-hmm.
That is shocking. I feel like I haven't seen her in several months, but like,
or is going to. Yeah.
No, I think you're probably right. I just that's surprising, just because I knew her very much here.
Yeah.
What is the goal for you? Because you're talking about like being in front of in the faces of people. Is it to be? Because I'm learning that a lot of comics do not want to be a comic. I didn't know that. I thought we all would like to do this.
Well, I've been doing this for 17 years now, so I like comedy.
I figured.
It's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, like, would you rather just write and star on your own television show and then not do stand-up?
I don't know if I would not do stand-up, but I want to at least put out 5 hours. I have 2 done. I'm close to finishing this 3rd.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So then I have 2 more hours. And then it's like, if I put out 5 hours, what the fuck am I even doing anymore? I very much want to sell and act and do all these things that I have dreams of.
Yeah.
Because comedy you can kind of always do. It's never going anywhere, but like getting the financing or the people to invest in you and to believe in you to be able to make your own stuff is really hard. So it's like if I got a chance to do that, I would jump at it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I've had the start and stop 10 times now, probably. I was just telling this story to someone, I think it was yesterday, where I was like talking to somebody about how I was in the final hours about to sign. I created a series and was about to sign it over, ready to go. And then at the last minute, there was something in the contract that was added the day before. And all my lawyers were like, absolutely not. And then the whole thing was falling apart. And then we came back to the renegotiations to be like, okay, let's like actually find a way to make this work. And then the pandemic hit and then everything got stopped and then it never picked up again. And I was like, yep, seems right.
Yep. More often than not, sadly.
I know. And by the way, just because I hate to move so fast, but I know we have a tight time limit. Are you cool if we move to the first segment?
Yeah.
Okay, the first segment is called the Newly Friend Game. It's like the Newlywed Game, but we're friends. You have a whiteboard over there with a marker and a little paper towel for erasing. I'm like the Newlywed Game, we're friends, and I'm like, and you're married and I'm about to be. Okay. And I have all questions about wedding stuff. At some point, we may do that off mic because I'm confused. Okay, so the way this works, I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to write down your answer. I'm going to write down what I think your answer is. Then we'll flip our board, see if we got the same thing. I don't have the opportunity to talk ice cream with people very often, so I'm going to jump on that instead. I was going to do comedy stuff, but like I love ice cream, and so I'd rather do that. What is the weirdest ice cream flavor that you've ever had? 1, 2, 3, flip. Bubble gum. Oh,
to me that was the weirdest because it just tasted disgusting.
There wasn't like actually chewy.
No,
but it was just the taste.
It was so gross.
I guessed olive oil and I guessed rose water.
I have had lots of, because I'm Indian, I've had lots of rose ice cream, but it's not like weird
I didn't
to me.
think about that.
Yeah,
okay, that was
to me that's like delicious. I'm like,
no, I like it. I had pistachio rose water ice cream the other day, and it
sounds so good.
That's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
But to me that doesn't register as weird because we put rose in all our dessert.
Do you really?
Well, not all of it, but it's common. Especially like rose milk is just a thing where they have the rose syrup and you pour it in milk and you stir it up.
That sounds delicious.
It's so good.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
Why aren't I drinking that? Where are you? Well, okay, I'll ask that question in a second. I'll finish this and then I have questions about what you just said. Okay. I guess we could do the same question for me. I'll tell you this. I'm going to give you one hint. I don't think it's going to help you very much. This was a salt and straw flavor.
Okay.
What is the weirdest flavor that I've ever had? And I will tell you, I would give you a teeny hint. It's got a non-American spice in it. Yuzu and miso. It was wasabi raspberry. Can I tell you something? Do you like sushi?
I do.
There's a sushi place in Sherman Oaks. That's the game, by the way. You can put the board down.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. There is a place called Sushi Note in Sherman Oaks where they give you, at the beginning, they give you a yuzu sorbet to just cleanse your palate.
Yeah.
At the end, they give you a yuzu gelato.
That sounds so good.
Shit good. But wait. So I wanted to go back to one of the things.
Was that good? The wasabi raspberry?
Wasabi raspberry was phenomenal.
Wow.
I didn't think it'd be good. I was literally like, I don't know if I want this.
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
100% delicious.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was so good. You obviously mentioned you're Indian. Northern or Southern? Northern. Okay. So obviously more familiar with Northern Indian food.
Yeah.
Just started getting into Southern. Love them both. My journey in life, and this is you're going to be like, what is wrong with you? So I'm a diehard mango eater. Okay?
Oh, I love mango. Yeah.
I have been told, so I have multiple friends who are like legit from India who have said to me, you don't know what mango is until you've had a mango in India. I did the research. They don't come over here, those mangoes, because they don't last, and all the tariffs and all the other nonsense with importing fruit, it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. I'm dying to get an Indian mango. I will go to the ends of the earth. I will fly to India to get a mango. But like that is, anytime I meet someone who has any sort of Indian roots, my immediate thought is like, have you had a mango in India?
They know what mango. You don't know what mango is. That's bold.
They're just telling me it's like the greatest.
It is though. I had a I guess my uncle, what did he call it? He said it was Mumbai mango or whatever the fuck. But he was like, this is really good. It was good. It was probably the best mango I've ever had. But it still tasted like a mango. I wasn't like, whoa, I've never had a mango. I'm like, no, this is a delicious mango.
So it's
mango. That's insane. What an insane thing to say. You don't know what mango is.
I mean, they said it was the greatest mango you could ever eat.
It's really good.
I once, this is a much long story, not worth getting into, but I once found myself in Cuba and I had some mango there and I was like, this is really good. And they were like, not as good. And I was like, really? I will travel. Like Jess was in India last year.
Oh,
and I was unfortunately on the road, so we couldn't make that timing work.
Yeah.
But she was there and I was like, did you have mango? And she goes, it wasn't mango season. And I was like, it's got to always be mango season. Is it not? She was there in December.
But you have to be careful when you're eating fruit. Don't let them wash it in tap water. You'll shit yourself uncontrollably.
That I was unaware of. That is, wow. Is that a thing people just know?
Yeah, you can't drink the water there at all.
Sure, but I don't.
You can't have fresh salad most of the time or fruit. It has to be washed in bottled water.
Salad? Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Chutneys, any like cold
I love
sauce.
Chutney. No, I don't.
Unless it was like made in a place for like American or like European tourists. Like if you're at like maybe like a Marriott or some shit and they're catering to you, they might have made the chutney with bottled water. But if you're just like, you can't eat that shit like otherwise.
So
like,
can I eat anything there?
Hot. Needs to be cooked.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You're really talking me out of this trip here. Have you? Because
you're gonna be shitting yourself. So it's just a matter of how much.
How much? Okay, lovely. Well, that's great to know.
Your stomach is gonna get upset. It's almost impossible to leave without your stomach being a little upset.
Well, it's a good thing that like I'm deep enough in my relationship that I can't scare her away now with that kind of trip. But do you go back all that often? Because I know you said you were raised in Chicago. So are you going back ever?
I would like to more, but it's normally for a family thing, like a wedding or something. It's because you have to like to make traveling and the money and everything worth it. You have to go for like a week, and it's so hard to find like a week of free time. I don't have that.
I don't know that I've had that in years. Sounds great though.
Yeah.
I mean, like Jess just challenged me recently next weekend. She goes, what would happen if you didn't do anything? And I was like, I don't know what you mean. She's like, so you know how you usually write on Saturdays? Like, yeah. She goes, so don't do that. She's like, and you don't have any podcast recordings. Don't do that. And I was like, what do I do? She goes, that's what I'm saying. And I was like, I don't know. I've never, I don't have that anymore. So it's very hard for me to like, if I have a free second, I'm like, okay, like, let me write this. Let me do a rewrite on that. Like, let me reach out to this person. Let me go, like book some of these shows out of town, do all this, do all that. It's hard to put my head in the space of like, do nothing. Like, do you ever do nothing?
Well, I don't like to do nothing. So like, even if
You don't enjoy it.
No, even if I'm like relaxing, it's like I would go to the movies or like go to
Sure.
Universal or whatever I'm not going to sit around and do nothing. I'd be so bored.
I'm sorry. You enjoy going to Universal?
Yeah.
Oh my God. The line's crazy to me.
Oh, well, you have to go with someone who's going to buy you a fast pass.
Okay, well, maybe after this, you
Yeah.
can tell me who that person is.
My husband.
Great. Perfect. Well, if he's looking for a side piece, I would love a trip to go. I went once, and I remember there's also weird. I'm trying to how to explain this. Do you know how we talk about Disney adults?
Yeah.
They're Universal adults.
Well, Universal is so much better.
I don't disagree,
Yeah.
but I do think they're like these weird like adults that are just like, oh, but so if you go to the Harry Potter ride, this is what you need to look out for. If you look at the like top left quadrant of your whatever, I'm like, what is going on, guys? Like, I let me just enjoy I'm gonna go on the ride. It'll take 47 minutes to get to the front, and then I'll ride it for a minute and a half, and then I'll be happy. Do you not have that experience at all with Universal?
No, because he hates lines so much. He always pays.
And the Fast Pass gets you really just legit. There's
Yeah.
you don't have to wait that much at all.
Maybe like 10 minutes at most. Yeah, it's crazy.
When is you going? I'm going. I want to go. Do you ever just bring a third wheel? I'm fun. I'm great. How did you two meet? Given you're so busy with comedy, he sounds like he's not in it.
He used to be a comedian. That's how we met.
He used to be a comedian.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of him that he quit.
I know.
Sometimes I wish I could. I like doing it too much. So I can't, but like it seems great.
Yeah. He might go back to it one day, but he's still figuring stuff out.
So is it tough dating? Because I date a non-comedian right now. Sometimes it is very challenging to kind of explain why the schedule makes no sense to someone who's not in it.
Yeah.
Do you have any of those issues, or because he was a comic, he already knows like this is kind of this is what it is?
Yeah, because exactly that's not an issue for us because he used to do this for a long time.
So lucky.
Probably I'm catching up to him in years because he stopped, but he did it longer than me. So, and then he stopped. So he gets it. He fully understands it. So I don't have that issue. I always had that issue with non-comics, which is why I never thought I'd be in a serious relationship because I was working like 12, 13 hours a day. I'm like, I don't have time for you. So why would you invest in me? Like I didn't think, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
There's an element to it where you can even tell someone coming into a relationship as a comic, like, this is always going to come first. I'm going to have to do this. There are going to be things that come up unexpected, blah, 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 blah. And even in the beginning, and I don't know if you had this experience, but I did, people will go in the beginning, yeah, that makes sense. Sure, I understand that. And then a certain amount of time will pass, and then they will realize they're not okay with that.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, I thought we talked about it. And they're like, we did, but I thought you'd choose me eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I call it yet people. It's like, if you say like comedy has come first, like it's not always going to be us. They'll be like, yet. It's not going to be us yet, but eventually it'll be us. And I'm like,
Yeah.
No. And so that's really tough for me. I never thought I'd be getting married to a non-comic because I'm just like, she doesn't get it. But
What
this
does she do?
she works in financial compliance, like the furthest thing from comedy in the
Jesus,
world. And yet she's seen enough comedy that the first show I did after the pandemic, I was like, it was my first time back in a club, and I was like, did the weekend, thought I did good. And after the first show, I got off, and I was like, the early show on Friday, I looked at her and I go, I did that. I think I did good. And she goes, yeah. So you rushed some of your punchlines, and I think that you're also relying a little bit more on the crowd's energy instead of your own, because it can tell that you're a little bit nervous because it's your first time back. I think you need to take a step back, and just gave me this whole thing. And she was right about everything. But I was like, I don't like that you just did all that.
Wow.
I was like, she just seen so much, and she's seen me. So she was like, you don't usually lean into the audience that much, but you leaned in a lot. And I was like, I was nervous. It had been like, I was a COVID, like, I was on the more nervous side.
Okay.
I was an anxiety guy.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go out. I was nervous to go back into a club. I wore a mask in the green room.
Yeah.
Like, That was me. So
I did not a lot, but I did a fair amount of outdoor shows.
I hated them. I did a few.
Oh, I hated them too, but they were better than Zoom.
I hated both. I pumped out a lot of pilots during COVID. That was much more pleasant for me than doing the Zoom shows. I did Zoom corporate shows, which were even worse.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
But you could command the amount of money you could command was fucking bananas. I would choose a number so that I wouldn't have to do it.
Yeah.
Because again, I was a very anxious individual during COVID times. So I would choose a number. I'm like, there's no way they're going to pay this. And then they would pay it, and I would be like, well, fuck, I'm in it now. But I'd be like, cool, this is like this pays the rent. So like, this is great.
Yeah.
But it was very intimidating, and I didn't care for it. How fast did you come out of it?
COVID?
Yeah, to like go right back onto the road.
Well, I did that thing where I literally waited in line 13 hours for one of the first doses. So I was vaxxed. So the second I could go on the road, I did.
Was that a real number? Like you waited in line?
Yeah, I think it was actually exactly 13 hours. Yeah.
I'm a little stunned.
It was freezing too, or it was raining. It was something where the weather was bad. I can't remember. Yeah. But I was like, I want this vaccine. It's going to go in the trash. I will wait outside.
Holy shit. Was this just outside of a CVS or like at one of those big lots? Like
it was at some clinic. I don't remember where though.
I volunteered in, I want to say it was like March or April. I volunteered to help at one of those like big like areas. I was at Magic Mountain. I know that sounds like a joke, but that's true.
Yeah.
I was at Magic Mountain, like helping direct cars and everything. And I did that because at the very end, they offered me the vaccine.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But again, like I still, even afterwards, I waited till I had both doses.
Yeah.
Did you just wait? You had the first dose and you're like, this is enough to get me started?
No, because there still wasn't, I got it pretty early. So I still, there wasn't,
Unbelievable.
There wasn't anything really going on. But once you had the first dose, they got you the second dose pretty quickly.
I think it was three. Well, it was like 3 weeks, but I was just like after that, and then I went into a club like 3 weeks after.
Yeah.
But it was local. It was like San Diego, not local, but like I drove down, did the weekend in San Diego, stayed in a hotel room down there just to like avoid staying on anyone's couches who didn't have it.
Yeah.
But like I did that, but it was scary for me.
Yeah.
You seem like you were just like, I had to do what I had to do.
Well, once I got the vaccines, I was fine.
You were just like, at that point, you were just fearless?
I wouldn't say fearless, but I wasn't really worried about it because it's like, you're pretty safe at that point once you had both vaccines.
I got it before the vaccines. I got COVID before the vaccines.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was because the electric blew in the apartment, and I was like, and I know how to work a breaker, so I like looked, but the breaker was smoking, and I was like, this feels not good. And so then I called an electrician who looked out at the outside panel, outdoors, with both of us wearing masks, and then said, I'm so sorry, I've been ordered. I have to look at the panel inside your apartment.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like, do I need to be in there? And he was like, no, you can stand outside. He was wearing a mask, I was wearing a mask, and 2 days later, COVID. 3 days.
Are you sure it was him though?
He called me.
He said he had COVID.
Yeah. Called me a couple days later. He goes, I'm really, really sorry. I'm calling everyone who I've worked with in the past week. Unfortunately, I just got diagnosed with COVID, and you should know. And I was like, well, I feel fine, so I'm not really stressing it. And I'm not exaggerating. I said, I feel fine. 48 hours from the moment I said, I feel fine, I no longer felt fine. And then Jess and I went to get tested, and they had this thing where like, you get tested and they'd be like, all right. And this one really nice lady would be like, all right, and would say your names. And we quickly learned, and there was another guy who would say your names in a not nice way. And we quickly learned, if the nice lady says your name, you're good. If the mean guy says your name, you're fucked. And the mean guy just goes, Lanzette, Simino. And I look at Jess, and I'm like, fuck. I almost cried.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was terrifying to have it like when it first. Ooh.
I know. I don't know how we got in so much COVID talk on this podcast, but yeah. Anyway, I feel bad rushing again, but I know we need to get you out of here.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the lightning round?
Yeah.
It's 5 fast questions. They do not at all have to be fast answers. I use this because it makes me feel like a late night talk show host. They all start with the letter J, so I feel like Josh could slot right in there.
Yeah.
Jimmy, John, James, it's all the same. So question 1, what is a favorite ritual of yours? So for example, I love brewing tea in the morning. Mm-hmm. What would be one that you love?
Well, it's not really my choice, but my cat wants me to pet her while she eats. So her food is in her bowl, but she like will come sit on my chest, and then like I'll have to walk her to her bowl and pet her while she's eating. And she's so happy. She purrs while she's chewing. So it literally sounds like not even exaggerating.
This
That's
is the
like pitch.
cutest thing in the world. What is it? We got to get a name here. What's her name?
Maleficent, but I call her Mally for short.
Of course, obviously.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Our cat. Do you? Not to go into too much detail, are you like someone who does controlled feedings, or you do like one feeding and then you just leave it out for them?
One feeding, but she has, cause she's on a prescription diet. We had to get her that bowl that reads the chip in the back of her neck and only opens for her. Cause otherwise her sister is a very aggressive tortie that would eat her food.
I've actually heard that torties are typically a much more aggressive cat.
Yeah. But I like that the nice cat has a weight problem. I mean, I don't like it because we don't know what's going on. We've got one of her health issues solved and we're trying to work on the other one next. But it's good because now she can literally sit on her sister. Like she
Just to fight back?
Yeah, like she
Oh my
can't win the
God.
fight anymore because the other cat got so fat. I'm like, she can literally just sit on her.
You're
and
like,
then she's
where are you
just
getting
like,
this?
like
Is she? Are they outdoor cats? Are they maybe getting food from someone else?
No, they're indoor cats. I mean, the healthy one is a regular weight, and then the other one, like, she has some rare genetic condition that she has to be on a KD diet, and like her weight has also blown up since she's been on the prescription food. So we don't know what's going on.
Oh
but
my gosh.
she's healthy. She's fine.
Drama in the kitty crib. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Question 2. What is a running bit you have with a friend or partner that makes you laugh?
A running bit. I guess me and my husband sing a song from Adventure Time to each other.
Oh, can you give us just a snippet of what song we're talking about here?
Okay, let me see if I can remember it. 'Cause sometimes I mess up the words. What is it? I'm a buff baby who can dance like a man. I can shake a my fanny. I can shake a my can. I'm a tootin' baby. I'm a punch your buns. Punch your buns. If you're an evil witch, I'm a punch you for fun.
This is the greatest thing that's ever happened on this podcast. I think
It's the best song.
I think we have to just end the whole podcast after this. Just this whole series is over. That's incredible. And you just sing that to each other randomly?
Yeah, and like sent the gift to each other of baby Finn dancing. It's the best. It's my favorite moment from that entire series.
I fucking love that. Because we do dumb shit like that too, but that is fucking glorious. Like I was obsessed for years, I still am, with the theme song to The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and would wake her up to it because the opening lines are "Gotta get up, gotta get going," and so if she won't get out of bed, I will blast that, and then I will start dancing next to her until she gets up. Doesn't care for it. Question 3: what is a very controversial opinion that you have?
Human beings need more predators. Like we have no predators. Like, you know what I mean? There's no natural predators. So now we're all like just busy killing ourselves. But if we were united against like ultra wolves.
Okay, so bears and wolves are not enough, and coyotes, but we need ultra wolves.
Yeah, or like aliens. You know,
Aliens.
pick your poison.
Okay. Now, do you think that would make us stronger, or that would just thin out the herd of crazies?
I mean, either is good.
Okay. Great. Well, hopefully it's not us. As long as they leave us alone, I'm fine with it. Yeah, I don't know if I'd hold my own. I'm going to be candid with you against an ultra wolf. I don't think you can schmooze your way out of an ultra wolf killing. I don't know. Question 4: have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, is there one particular moment that really sticks with you?
Imposter syndrome. I mean, I would like to experience imposter syndrome. I feel like by the time I've gotten most things, I've been trying for so long that I'm just exhausted.
You're too tired to feel it.
Yeah, I don't really. I doubt and question myself constantly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like everything that gets rejected, there's always that moment of, do I even know what I'm doing? So it's constant. There's not really a moment that stands out, but
it seems with you, it's like constant internal, but when you have those external things, you're like, yeah, I mean, who cares? I'm exhausted.
Yeah, like when I did late night, I had worked with a separate late night booker for like a year.
Yeah.
And then they had given me a date, and then they pushed it, took it away, and then just ghosted me after like making me run and change my set for a year. And then
Oh, my Lord.
a different late night booker was like, hey, can you tape tomorrow? So obviously somebody dropped out. Do you have any 5-minute sets? And I was like, literally, I have 100 because of this other lady. So I sent in one. They were like, no. I sent in a different 5-minute set. They're like, yeah, just do that set. And I was in New York. I had to fly from New York to LA overnight to like be there to film that late night set. And I wasn't nervous. I didn't care anymore. I was so tired. You know what I mean?
That is the most insane story. But also, it's like, I think that's the kind of thing, and I think you're a really good example of it, where it's just like once you've prepared so much at that point, it's like, okay, the end is not really the point.
It was more just relief that I got to use some of that work in any capacity.
Yeah, here's
like,
37 5-minute sets. Pick your favorite.
I was so just like grateful that like it wasn't a complete waste of my time because I was mad.
You're like, you had me doing this for a year, and this other person who really had never spoken to you was just like, hey, do you want to do it? And you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm already here.
Yeah, it was like, it was a lot of gratitude and relief and not nervous because, it's like.
What are you going to do at that point?
Yeah.
You can't be like, hey, I'm angry at you on behalf of this other booker. Question 5, and this is, I'm curious with you because I know you tried to get into tea. Question 5, what is your favorite tea? And if you don't have a favorite tea, what is your favorite comfort?
My favorite tea is cinnamon CBD tea from what is it? Harney and Sons.
Harney and Sons makes a CBD tea.
Yeah, it's really
Didn't know
good.
that. Okay.
CBD cinnamon. It's super relaxing.
Really?
Yeah.
I've had hot cinnamon sunset by them, but I didn't know they had a CBD tea. But you have that a lot?
Not anymore, but I used to. There was a point where I was like ripping through that because it'll just like chill you out.
That sounds amazing.
And it's just like hot and warm and taste. It's really good.
I mean, I could have also made you a cinnamon tea. I'm just saying. Well, no, that's the pod. How do you feel?
I feel good.
Good. I'm sorry we couldn't keep you for longer. Next time we will have you much, much longer. But yeah, and then very last but not least, keep us updated on the cat. I'm curious.
She'll be fine. It's more of like she was in the vet so much last year, but when they were figuring out what was wrong with her, I'm like, the fact that she's healthy now and she doesn't need surgery and everything looks good, I'm like, I don't want to ruin her life over diagnosing her. You know what I mean?
No, of course
I want
not.
her to be happy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if she ends up sitting on the other cat some more, just keep us in the loop. Let the listeners know.
We'll find out at her annual if there's anything else we can do for her.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
That was Subhah Agarwal. You can find her on Instagram at Subhaha and on TikTok at Subha Comedy. This episode was produced by Dylan Rosenthal. It was edited by Martin Alvarez. Our theme song and additional music are by Oliver Hymack. Our cover art was done by Neil Fraser with photography by Matt Mazisco. Social media by Dia Villegas. Please write a review and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can. You can send any questions, comments, newly friend game suggestions, or tea suggestions to steepcombos@gmail.com or tweet us at steepconvos. I'm Josh Lanzette, and you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Josh Lanzette. We'll be back next week, so until then, happy steeping.
I think you just have to really believe in yourself to try heroin.
I don't.
I
don't believe in myself in any of those respects. I don't believe that I have a working respect. I could be the one, you know?